Still need to do a little bit more. Need to do more. Must do more. Must do more. Must do more. Hello there everyone, Gomez here for the LAN Up channel again. Another deck for you today. This one is actually involving the Golden Birdman. I've not actually really made a deck involving him that much at all. So this is him running with pirates. So this is Pirates of the Sand. So yes, this is the Pirates of the Sand deck, and actually a really good concept. I would just have to do a big shout out to Vaza Go or Vaza God, whichever they go by now. I know that you're in the YouTube as I think like CJ or CH or something like that. I do apologise if I can't remember what the name is exactly, but you sent this in the comments of one of the YouTube videos, and sadly I couldn't deep dive to find it, like the exact things. I can't remember whether or not you posted a deck code or not, just the general idea of using Misfortune and Azir together, because obviously Bilgewater's got a number of summon effects and whatnot, and working with that and just trying to pip the damage in and whatnot, because obviously the plan is to use Taskmaster to help get up the attack of the Sand Soldiers and whatnot, like along those lines. So I do apologize, I did not actually get to find your deck code, so I built a deck based around the general ideas that you were saying. So I don't know whether or not this is it. Like I said, if you do want to post your deck code down below, please feel free to, so that we can compare and whatnot. But just thank you just for putting forward the idea in general. I do try to hit as many people's ideas as I can, but sometimes I will admit that some might get lost in the shuffle, so I do apologize for that. But never fret, always try to post them, because some of them do seep through, and I will always credit you if one of your ideas gets used. So anyway, let's get into this deck. So as I was saying, so this deck is basically using Misfortune and Azir. We're trying to do damage into their core so that we can use Taskmaster to help get up the Sand Soldiers, as well as the fact that we have Desert's Wrath, which is yet again, so we're just increasing their damage to the point where your opponent has to deal with it. I know there's somebody in the chat who's going to go, why don't you just use Iceborne Legacy in Freljord? Which, to be fair, Silverfuse did put out a deck on that, so if you want to see that of using Iceborne Legacy with that, please feel free to. But I do apologise to that. I feel like I need to make an Iceborne Legacy deck just because they're in the chat, and I do want to appease them. It's just finding the right deck to make it happen right now. But this is and finally I've made a deck with the Golden Birdman. Right, it's been a while since I've actually even bothered to try and make a deck with him. So we've got things like Deus, which does work really well with if you can get Island Navigator up to attack forward, because if Azir and a Deus is on the board, you go forward in the scout move. Obviously you're getting that like the benefits of it twice, and especially if you buff them up through Taskmaster or Desert's Wrath, that's just paying dividends and going in twice. It's also helping Misfortune if you're able to hit in twice. So I ended up putting this in the deck. Now admittedly this could be cut. The reason that I put this in the deck is that I thought it'd be funny that if I played Deus, that I can use this to actually increase somebody's damage on the end of attacks, that once your opponent has declared their defense, just to increase the damage and force that in. But this actually ended up saving Misfortune's life in a game, I believe, in terms of the fact that it was able to secure her and make her so that she didn't die. So it's got uses like that, but it could potentially be cut. Some other things that I considered in this deck were obviously to run the what's its face guy, right? The rally guy in Bilgewater, so the Citrus Courier, but because obviously then you're rallying and then going forward again. I also considered playing him, but I just couldn't work out what I wanted to cut in order to put him. But obviously you could potentially cut those. I would like to get another Sandcrafter in there. Another thing, other things that missed the cut were inspiring, which you call it, Marshall, which again would work really well with the Sand Soldiers. We've seen it work very well in many decks, as well as obviously Voice of the Risen. Yet again, those things just buffing for additional buffs. That there's definitely ways that you could rebuild this deck to fit them in. It's just that this deck seemed to work okay for me, and I enjoyed the way that this deck operated for me personally. But everyone's got their own things, and there's definitely always different ways of building decks. That's one of the most important things about this channel, is that anything that I come up with is mostly concepts. You can build off of them and do your thing. Don't just think that what I've built is the clear cut, this is how it should be done. No deck is how it should be done. The thing of it is that literally you take it and you can craft in whatever more suits your playstyle. That's what's more important in terms of these things. So always remember that whenever it comes to my decks, that you can take the basic concept and build off of it. So we've also got Ruinous Path. I got 2 copies in here. Surprisingly, it's worked really well. Number 1 for draw, but number 2, because people are having to force themselves into the Sand Soldiers in most of the times just to, like, you know, stay alive and whatnot. It's most of the time trading, so you're getting that drain and draw. So it's actually worked out quite well in this deck. So please let me know what you think of this deck in the comment section down below. So if you run this deck, let me know how it goes, as well as if you make any changes, let me know what you would change. Bear in mind, shameless plug time, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. If you didn't know already, I do stream on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So you want to come catch the action live, please feel free to, as well as the fact that there is a Discord link down below, which I said you can get in that Discord. There's so many like friendly people in there. We're all working together. You can say, I've got an idea for this kind of deck, and people will help you along the way, especially if you're new to the game. If you're new to the game, I would highly recommend that Discord, because number 1, I'm in there, so if you ever have any questions, please feel free to ask them. But there's a number of really good Legend of Runeterra people in there who, if you have questions and like I want to help crafting decks, then that is the place to go. So honestly, please, because I do love the little community that we're fostering there. So there's also going to be a games night on the 25th. So there's a monthly games night and movie night in the Discord, and the games night this month is on the 25th. So if you want to go in and join that, please feel free to get on mic as we play some games. It'll be a good laugh and we'll have good times. But anyway, thank you all so much to everyone who supported this channel. I do have an end of year goal of hitting 5,000 followers / subscribers on YouTube and Twitch. I definitely feel like we can smash YouTube and get this done and just like hit those goals so that I can just keep this. Literally, you're making a little weird curly head mustachio man's dreams come true. So honestly, thank you all so much. Without further ado, let's get in and see how this deck does in a couple of matchups. Okay, so we're playing against somebody who's playing like the Trundle and Lissandra Burst Speed Watcher. Which, to be fair, that deck does actually have a number of different counters to like one health units, right? Because obviously it's got like the Ice Shard, it's got the ability of using what's its face? Like, I think of the damn name of it right now. It's got the ability of using Avalanche at some point as well. We immediately want to go in there because we want to be trying to get up these Taskmasters, because literally every single Taskmaster we hit just means that is also helping out the Sand Soldiers. So if we can get there quick enough, especially the fact that we've got Deus is quite good right now. My opponent is passing. This might end up being a little bit too much. Bear in mind that there's so many different things that our opponent could... Okay, I don't... Okay. I could chance a parlay and a Bimji, but I feel like I'm chancing my luck too much right now, so we might as well go like this. So that is forcing a lot of damage in. Bearing in mind that, as I said, like Avalanche, the fact that my opponent, so yet again, even if this dies to Avalanche, at least those have been slightly buffed. I will accept that. Gonna be losing these, but as I said, I'm willing to accept that for what I will say is the greater good. Okay. So we've got that on my attack turn. Bearing in mind that I said they could just have Ice Shard or whatever it is, the 1 damage across all, like, at any point in the proceedings of this, but it's okay. It's okay. Remember your training. So what we want to be doing is we want to try and for a Petty Officer going into a 1-cost unit. Anything that's got 1 health is so susceptible to death. I could do this move. Okay. I'm gonna throw this. I'm gonna throw these out, expecting them to die to Ice Shard. So we're gonna throw these out, expect them to die to Avalanche or Ice Shard. I honestly don't expect to see either of those things, but then the plan's gonna be to play you. So I'm at least summoning 2 of these. That's gonna be so potential deny. Okay. Was honestly gonna expect to deny, but okay. These are going up to 4 damage, so it's a lot for you. These are going up a lot. Are we like? It's gonna take the defense is gonna have to be there, because I mean I could technically throw this on top of this. So they're gonna go with they're gonna go with you. So these are all dead like anyway. Part of me is gonna consider playing you onto this field of play right now, but then obviously you would just get killed. Like, if you traded off, then you're just going to get killed by that. So I'd rather just let these guys go forward with significant damage, and then we can throw you out on the next attack turn. I am willing to accept you going out on the next attack turn, bearing in mind that we can parlay Trundle off the field of play. So, even though all of this and much significant damage parlay directly on here. So we're going to be losing this board, but they should be losing their Trundle, going down to 4 health. So it's a lot of health for them to go down to at this point. It's a lot of health for them to go down. So we're going to lose everything there, but it's okay. Deus is still alive. We can go with 2 Deuses. Amadeus, Amadeus. If anyone knows what the hell that reference is. We want to be waiting for them to use enough of their mana. That means that they're not going to be... We want them to use enough of their mana, which means that they're not going to be using like any form of remove. Like basically, we want to attack forward. So that's enough of their mana. They've got 3 mana left. That's not going to be enough to kill this, which then means that once we go forward, these are going to be created and you're going to be creating. It's going to be very hard. So we just leave it. It's going to be very hard for them to cope with this attack, which is immediately going to be going forward. We had the option of throwing out the scout unit, which would have meant that these Deuses would have activated twice, but I'm not willing to take the chance. I'd rather just go. It will force out any form of recall action that they've got right now, meaning that it's going to be hard for them to play their Ice Pillar. So we're just going to try and force that out right now. There's not a lot of healing that can heal that much damage. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so Discard Aggro. Discard Aggro. Very damage heavy. Very damage heavy. We've not really got to, I mean, other than I guess we keep Parlay to deal with team. I was gonna say we do have the elusive one as well that could be very helpful to us. I'm actually gonna keep this going for me. But yeah, no, we could have also had the Cutthroat as counter to Teemo as well. But this, if it's I mean, speak of the devil who did shall appear. Gonna throw the Cutthroat out because Teemo can't actually defend against the Cutthroat because she's fearsome. So it means that if they do throw Teemo out, we can defend Teemo, but at the same point, like, you know, they can't defend us. So it's all good. Thermal Beam, but okay, even they don't defend. Even that can't defend because of the fearsomeness. So it's gonna force that damage in. We could kill with Parlay, but if I want to be killing anyone, it's gonna be Teemo. He says, but I'm also thinking to myself, yeah, I know, but I could remove that. Just because, like, bearing in mind that Discard Aggro also works on the fact that it builds a board, then uses, like, things such as Draven's Axe to get rid of vision. Like, so actually trading off their units is not a bad thing. I still want to keep you as being my card for Teemo. They do have damage spells as well, such as Get Excited and Mystic Shot, but that's just another thing that's going to be helping me against Teemo there. Part of me's honest to God just thinking, like, you know, just play Azir right now. So they could play Draven. Like, Draven is somebody we might see hit the field play. So instead I'm going to actually hit the June Keeper. We're just going to go like, okay, let's try. Let's see, so Draven. So you always get Draven on turn 3. Always, without fail, get Draven on turn 3. Just going to throw these 3 forward. Obviously, Draven's going to hit into the Sand Soldier. That is to be 100% expected. But I want to keep this guy back so I can defend against Draven as well. Could technically just go forward with all of them and just accept the damage in there. Just accept 3 damage next turn. That's also very possible, by the way. Because the thing of it is that with Draven's... Actually, I'm going to leave you back. With Draven's Axe, the vision being in that hand, like, I'd rather just not take that increased damage. If they do block here, which is very doubtful. So, they actually got rid of the Experimenter guy. So, doing that move there was not actually expected to do that, but I guess it does help them towards leveling Draven. So, was not expecting it, but it's a fair play by my opponent. In all honesty, that does make a lot of sense. If we can get the Island Navigator out, then it just means that Azir will create twice.
You should drink Linky sometime.
So, not gonna lie, was not expecting this one, but I'll take it, I guess, because at least it is a defense. Okay.
Time for the money makers.
Still got the mana for this, so boom, that's already gonna be dying. I feel that we trade you off, and I feel that we put you in front of this now. Admittedly, so Draven's going to be leveling. There's the potential of a Jinx level up coming very soon as well, especially if they've got Rummage in the hand. But
what's my name?
Yeah, Draven, you son of a bitch, you're an amazing guy, but it's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to Ruin his Path. Runeterra Path, and then we can go into potentially an Azir, which is going to help us a lot. We haven't actually done too much in the way of...
Do not see what is. See what
I can't think of names right now. Things will eventually come to my brain. I haven't done too much in the way of buffing those sand soldiers, which is a little bit problematic. Sadly, these things happen and you've got to kind of roll with the punches. So, go with the scout move first. Means that I could throw down Azir. It's a lot of axes. It's a lot of axes. But we could throw down Fortune Croaker. Keep Azir back for the time being.
I don't change fate, but I can see it.
Keep Azir back. So, going for it. Admittedly, it would have been lovely if I would have had a way of buffing these. Like, if I would have had, like in the other game where there was, like, Taskmasters immediately, or we had, like, Desert's Wrath. It would be lovely to have those things, but sometimes you don't have the things that you need.
Open wide.
I'm willing to keep these two back as defense, actually, because although I could throw you forward, like, Jinx is probably going to be leveling up this. Actually, no, yeah, I mean, depending on what they've got in their hand, they could really easily level Jinx. Feel like I'm willing just to go forward like this. Level Azir. We do still have a rise in hand, so next attack turn, like if we can survive and get through to next attack turn, we could actually make quite a significant attack next turn. I'm surprised that they're willing to sacrifice Draven right now. In honesty, that's the biggest surprise. Out of all of those in the hand, I would have thought the one they would go to sacrifice would be Teemo, because we've got elusive defense, and therefore, like, his usefulness is not really there. Literally, I thought, especially the fact that Draven's got overwhelming and is leveled up right now. I mean, admittedly, we might see a, well, I was going to say, like, maybe a Draven coming off with a Whirling Death, but they choose to accept. They choose to accept the damage. They're going down to 8. As I said, so next turn, when it goes into my next attack turn, we really want to be trying to go for an Arise if possible. But obviously, we'll see how this goes. They didn't level Jinx last turn. See how this goes. So they had to, I mean, they could have leveled her last turn, like without any real problems. If we're gonna be honest, they've still even got the axe down 2. They've even got the axe down 2 level if they wanted to. This turn, willing to trade you off, willing to also do this. Potentially, they could go into Vision. Like that's an option that they could go for, but we'll see how this goes. Hopefully this does do a trade-off, because then obviously Runeterra Path would be a nice thing to be able to use, and then we could go into a Sandcrafter as well. So that's fine. That's fine. They've not actually leveled her, so willing to accept as we now go in with this. Taskmaster is actually a great... I was going to throw you down, but Taskmaster does make things a little bit more interesting, because it is actually an additional buff, because admittedly Azir's going to be buffing, but that is also an additional buff onto those sand soldiers as well. Did they just do Vision? Did they just use Vision? Because if they use Vision, so they finally leveled up Miss Widget, they finally leveled up Jinx. I was going to say, why did they use that when they went into their attack turn? If that's what they used, or did I just miss? No, I think that, okay, it was just being axes. Don't worry, I'm talking bollocks. Classic me. There is a dais, but I feel that we want to be going immediately forward. I feel that we just want to be going immediately forward, just putting in some pressure right now. The time for pressure. Time for pressure is now, especially against like Discard Aggro, when they've used up, when they've only got like 2 spells left in their hand. You always want to be putting pressure on at this moment in time on them right now, because it's like they've got such like sheet. You get your rocket, but although you got your rocket, you've still got to do like much defending at the same point. It's like sheet.
This is gonna hurt for you.
Still need to do a little bit more. Need to do more. Must do more. Must do more. Must do more. They needed to have a jerry rig or something that they could put out. So that's what I mean. Oh, I do love it when you beat like a deck such as Discard Aggro. I don't know why. It's a special place in my heart. Okay, so Ash, is that going to be using the Winter's Breath combo? If you can get Karma on the board and use Winter's Breath, it casts twice, which means that you wipe your opponent's board. Devastating if that is true. Okay, admittedly we have got our Taskmasters, so all we need to do is like hit into that core at the right time so that we can at least get the ball rolling. That's the most important thing, is to get the ball rolling here. Admittedly, I might end up cutting Sharpening Stone. My main reasoning for Sharpening Stone is that it felt... I might end up regretting this as well, because a troll chant. They don't have it. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I shouldn't have worried. But, you know, I put Sharpened Stone here because I thought, like, obviously, with the elusive damage, or just to put on the end, onto, like, if once your opponent did all the trades to throw into the last Sand Soldier, I thought that would be, like, a really good, because especially if you've got the Deus out. But potentially, I could see cutting that. Gonna throw out Misfortune. Fortune does favour the bold. See how my opponent reacts to this. That's fine. So I'm expecting them just to let this go and then Frostbite kill Misfortune. And that's honestly how I expect this to go. Ooh, Yugi boy. Okay. Sharpened Stone might actually help save Misfortune's life right now. Sharpened Stone might actually help save her life. And there's nothing left to believe in. Believe in hope! Gonna throw out Petty Officer. Gonna throw out Petty Officer right now, but obviously... Whew, I mean, out of nowhere! The Crusty Conjure comes in to save! Like, obviously it would have been... Like, they still go for that move, but obviously we've got the counter to it. But... that... Crusty Conjure coming in out of nowhere. That one cost coming in just like, I'll save you. So devastating. I said we could go with trying to kill. We could honestly go with trying to kill her, but I'm actually gonna go with saving Misfortune's life right now, because that at least puts Ashe into that problem area of, like, you know, if you do defend me, then you'll be taking the 1 damage off of the. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you defend, you will be taking the 1 damage, so it's something for you to think about. Do we want to play you? I mean, you know what? You know what?
Best way to the
Let's go all in. Would my opponent run? What's its face? Would my opponent risk their own Ashe by running Avalanche in that deck? It could happen. Or Ice Shard. Would that deck? Because obviously it needs to get to the late game for Karma, so it must run some form of, like, removal such as this, right? Right? It's just, at this moment in time, it will also sacrifice your Ashe. So it's like, obviously, unless you got, like, Troll Chant, but you'd have to have, so Troll Chant with... Troll Chant, actually, you've got the mana for Troll Chant Avalanche, or you've got the mana for Troll Chant, and, ooh, no. Okay, and Chill in the air. That's fine. I mean, admittedly, it's still got that 1 health, which means that it's still massively susceptible to Misfortune right now. Your move, Yugi! As we go forward, and that's just going to create the little sad man on the end. Mr. Sadman, bring me a dream. Do 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 do. So potential Troll Chant could kill Misfortune right now, but I'm still willing to throw it into this. Because it is just like, you know, it will take a bit for my opponent to be able to sort out this whole mess. So, so that's a lot of damage. That was a lot of damage to take. Not to the best degree, but still saving her life to a little bit of a degree. Obviously, it would have been lovely to have played Jagged Taskmaster last turn, but it just feels like that felt like the right decision, just to push more damage right now. While my opponent is in a weakened and wounded state, it felt like the better move. Oh. Not gonna lie, that's really good. That will actually mean they will hit Misfortune. They will hit Misfortune, and potentially that will actually be the level up as well. So, gonna actually Fortune Croaker. Gonna Fortune Croaker, just basically to try and find answers. Not the answers I was looking for, but definitely, I mean, if they're not, so they're not willing to risk the, oh no, they are willing to risk the real, okay. I was me thinking, they won't risk the real Ashe, will they?
Lead us to victory.
Okay, so that is the level up. That is the level up. And so, as a number of my Ashes down, as long... not the magic word. As long as we are still staying alive. Technically, there was no reason they couldn't have thrown the Ice Veil Archer into this as well, because that would have just picked me down to 10. So that's fine. So that they still have the ability to protect the real Ashe. Must protect the real Ashe, but they've still got a lot of damage that they've got to work with here. They've still got a lot of damage that they've got to work with that's going to be coming at them.
And they have.
I do have the option of throwing this down. Part of me is just considering immediately going forward. I might end up regretting this and end up wishing that I'd played Desert's Wrath first. I might end up regretting this and wishing that I'd just played Desert's Wrath first. But in my head, in my heart of hearts, this sounds legitimate.
Stay back.
So they weren't actually even willing to try and, I was gonna say, they've got to try and trade off the misfortune, right? Because I have the sneaky sneaks. They're gonna need the frostbites right now. They're gonna need frostbite. They don't have it, and that is a GG to my opponent. Honestly, I love what you, because I mean there is obviously the potential of Winter's Breath in there, Karma. I love what you're doing. Sadly, it didn't work out today, but at least things worked out for me. Hey, I do apologize. I was disrespectful. I'm sorry. Oh, the dreaded TF Fizz deck. It's okay. Let's go. Let's see how we do. Frosty! Immediately, I've got like a counter to what's his face immediately, right? I've got counter to Fizz immediately. Potentially, if we can get this ball rolling and start making these sand soldiers like going up in damage, like we might actually be able to make them woo the day. We might be able to make them woo the day. Bear in mind that they do have a twisted, so things with 1 health might end up becoming a little bit whore, but we shall see how things go. You don't know how it's going to be until you go into the matchup, right? You never know how it's going to be until the matchup begins. Oh, misfortune as well. It's very nice. Very nice. I need to turn this radiator down because that is hot. It's too hot. Hot! Okay, last turn. So I could throw down misfortune. I could throw down Azir. Part of me is honest to God considering misfortune, but then, like, I really want to be starting to get the Jagged Taskmasters also working. I might end up regretting this decision. I'm going to tell myself I'm not going to regret this decision, but you know full well I will. Bearing in mind that deck has got so much P&Z removal and get excited, mystic shots and such. Willing to take the risk. Here, end of the lesson. Sometimes one must take risks and hope. So, but they got rid of Fizz. It was like they was like, you know what? I'll leave it. Potential sloot up. I was gonna say potential sloot up would have been like a really great counter there. So they got rid of both their champs. I'm surprised on the. I'm surprised on the. I'm actually gonna leave this. Because I might trade off. Like if they go forward, I'll trade one of these off to be able to do this, which then means I could use both Taskmasters. That's what my mind is thinking. So, so they're getting that down. That's fair play.
All or nothing.
So all or nothing. Willing to accept for what I'm going to tell myself is the greater good. So by doing this, it just means that now we can throw down both Jagged Taskmasters, buff, and then we can throw a Azir out, and then that just means that the sand soldiers that he's making are gonna be increased. And to be fair, actually, even we could even go with Island Navigator, right? We could even go with Island Navigator if we so chose. So that is misfortune down. Misfortune, she's a down! But still go like this. I wish I had a Deus on the field right now, because that would just have made, like, you know, like, which could, Island Navigator just, like, even better. I'm actually going to throw down, we could have thrown down Azir, but I'm weird to go, oh, look at that. Look at that big boy Yeti as well. So, potentially, like, they're really trying to get themselves quickly into the level up of Twisted, but we're going to start pounding pressure. We are going to start pounding the doors of pressure. Under pressure. I mean, again, I wish that I would have used I wish I would have used a landmark, because right now that would have been potential lethal. So let's see whether or not they can top deck the answers that they need, but we have put a significant amount of damage into them. So potentially we might even see the level up of Twisted Fate, because obviously there's like so many different things they can use in that to draw. They use the suit up. I've got so much health right now. I mean, potentially we see a level up. Potentially we see a level up, but I'm honestly considering just playing Azir. I'm honestly just considering playing Azir, or even playing this turn. Yeah, I'm. You know what? You know what? We're gonna go Billy Big Bollocks. I'm gonna throw this out this turn. So once Twisted Fate goes forward, I defend with you, and then we throw a Azir out and then go into the scout attack next turn. Like as long as we can do a scout, I mean that's fine. Like so, it's up to you right now if you want to go, because I feel like they at least have got to go forward with the elusives, right? They are making a big ass elusive attack.
Lady Luck is smiling.
Lady Luck is smiling. It allows me to defend myself. Here. We now just throw a Azir out, and yeah, things are gonna kick off. My name will echo throughout the Hoodaboos as we immediately go into the scout move first. Go into the scout move, which means that number one, boom, big boys coming at you. Big boys coming at you, but those big boys are going to become even bigger boys now that Azir is leveled. So that's just a scout attack. That's just a scout attack. I'm coming again. And again. And again. And again and again and again. So we can go like that. That's fine. See, that's what I mean. If I haven't played Deus, this is kind of weak. Potentially, I might cut this. Like, it's really good once you've played Deus, like, you know, just a finisher, but it's okay. Even wider onto this field of play. As well as the fact that I have got you, which does mean I can remove a burn, but getting my opponent's health down to 1. Getting them down to 1. And it's then asking the question, can you, I mean, to be fair, just because for board superiority, I'm willing to do that, so we can just go wider on the field. Admittedly, we could have forced them to trade up everything that they had, but that just then it gets the GG because the only thing they had left in hand was the ignition. But well played. Oh my god, it is just a Braum deck. So I expect Poros. But you know, like you're not 100% sure, but you take the gamble that you think this has got to be a Poro deck, right?
Yep.
There is healing. There is obviously healing within what's his face, Freljord. So let's see how this goes. But I'm actually interested to know what the hell this is. If this is just a full pure Braum deck.
Escapes my watch.
What are you? What are you? So I'm willing to take that damage. I'm going to play Misfortune next turn, which just means that obviously Troll Chant would get them past it.
Fortune favors the bold.
Obviously Troll Chant would get them past. So it depends on how much mana they use on this next move. Trap, like, what? Okay, so Ember Maiden coming out right now. Okay, I'm just willing to go forward with you. Still forcing some damage. Still forcing a nice amount of damage. Still going to be keeping back. Misfortune right now. She can still live. She still lives through like 2 of those hits. So obviously, unless they. So is this a Scargrounds deck? Is this going to be a Braum Scargrounds deck? That's the only thing that makes sense.
They'll never feel the cold.
I'm willing to accept the damage. I feel like I throw out you. Because bear in mind that each time we go forward with this, the Spawns of War. So that's the first time I've actually seen somebody use this. Okay, actually a really good card. Part of me's thinking, do I Deus or do I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna throw this out because part of me's thinking, do I Deus? Because admittedly we go forward with the scout move and then we go forward again. Like that is an option. But I want to be starting to buff. I want to be starting to buff those, so I'm actually more willing to do this. I'm more willing to do this move. Misfortune's most likely gonna die. Still throw out the Cutthroat. The Cutthroat will be like, so basically everything here is going to be dying as long as this stays onto the field of play anyway. If we go forward, I mean that is them dead. So if they block one of these, so part of me's just thinking, do I just throw Misfortune into this anyway? Because if they're gonna be, if they've got like any form of defense, like, I feel like I'm willing to accept that. Because it means that, like, if they were going to keep her back anyway, like, Misfortune was going to die anyway, and I'd rather try and get rid of this. So, that's devastating. I mean, obviously, it still dies. It still dies because the attack guided off Misfortune and did that, so... But it was a valiant attempt to try to save their life. Probably might have been a better plan to save it back for Braum, but it was a valiant attempt to try and save their life. So, yeah, that's what I mean, like... So close and yet so far. If you had a troll chant, that would have been the one that you would have used. That would have been a good one. If you. So there's the Scargrounds. I thought this might be a Scargrounds deck. Let's face it. At this point, at this.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Destined Poro for banter's sake, but let's face it, death has come. I do apologize. I love whatever your new thing was that you were doing, because I do love people experimenting, but sadly today goes to the Sand Pirates, but GG to my opponent. So that is the Sand Pirates deck. I do apologise if some of those matches were slightly more zoomed in than others. Like, I just realised that my OBS settings were off by a little bit there, so I do apologise with that. I hope that did not detract from your viewing pleasure. But obviously, as you can see, Pirates of the Sand, really good deck, right? Actually, in terms of win rate, that won. Like, it lost one game out of all the games that we did. It lost one game, but that was to like a really, really aggressive aggro deck. But other than that, the fact that it still managed to beat, like, you know, Twisted Fate, which it Twisted Fate with Fizz, it managed to beat Discard Aggro, it actually did really well in a number of different things. So please let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. If you run this deck, please let me know. As well as that, Vars the God, if you're there, please let me know what your deck is in the code, like deck code down there, so you can compare notes and whatnot. But it's a really good idea, so thank you for bringing it to my attention. But I just hope that everyone enjoys it. So I said, like, let me know if you make any changes, let me know if you do anything. But also, just if you want to catch this action live, link down below to the Twitch. You can catch me live on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, as well as with the Discord link down below as well. So you want to join the Discord, the lovely group of, like, community that we're building there. There's also like a game start that's going to be on the 25th, so if you want to get involved there, get on mic and play some games, please feel free to, as well as the fact that just thank you just everyone who just supports the channel and has a good time. That's the main thing that this channel is all about, is crafting stupid decks together, having a good time and having a laugh. So I hope you had a good time. Until next time, bye.
Flash of brilliance that could save me. Save me! That doesn't save me. Okay. Is there anything from you? Save me. That doesn't save me! Okay. Get rid of this and get rid of this. Find something that can save me.